All right. Hello and welcome to our Thursday activation call. Um, so this week we have been talking about the balance of God's order and how we came to realize God revealed to us that balance in God's view is really order, his order, not and it doesn't look like the world thinks it looks, and it comes from us and our lives reflecting his heavenly rhythm. And yesterday I was listening. We're big Forrest Frank fans here, and I got a notice that he shared it, that he had shared part of him being invited to the church where he gave his life to Jesus when he was in college, that he talks about on his Child of God 2 album. And I started watching that, and I actually watched it twice. I watched it yesterday because he shared like the whole clip on the whole video on YouTube from the church. He went back to the church and they had him there, and then Corey Asbury, and there had been like a thing between Forrest and Corey a few months ago after his back broke, and Corey was kind of making fun of it, and then Forrest reached out, or like put the offer out for them to connect and like talk through it, and then they have since then become like best friends. Corey flew out to California and like hung out with him for 3 days, and they really hit it off, and like they got to see each other's perspective, like, and it helped Forrest better understand where Corey was coming from, helped Corey better understand like how what he did was wrong. So anyways, they both ended up at this church service, and Corey was leading worship for the first time, and I think he said 3 or 5 years, something, many years, multiple years, and Forrest was sharing his testimony. But while they were talking, what came to me was, okay, because like we build our weeks out like this. Tuesday is our Bible study. We're getting like in God's word, like what does God say, and getting to know God and his character and like his promises and his view of us. So we're spending Tuesdays are heavy God. Wednesdays we do Walk with Jesus Wednesday. So we try to look at what Jesus exemplifies, or what he says, or what's referenced about him, like some way we kind of bring Jesus in. And then Thursday we like to activate through the Holy Spirit. And so I was like, okay, as I'm listening to the sermon, there were little key points that were pointed out, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's where we're going with this activation call tomorrow. And then today I re-listened to it again, and I was like, yep, that's where we're going. So the title of our call today is Activating Balance Through Total Surrender. And and I don't even like, I'm saying this like, I know I'm way more surrendered than I used to be. Um, like this year has just unraveled more and more and more surrender. But I'm even still like, okay, God, give me more, like show me where I can surrender more, where I need to lay down more control, where I need to like get back. And even hearing Forrest, who's 30 years old or 31 years old, which is like 10, 11 years younger than me, like the way he's surrendering some of that stuff, I'm like, dang, I'm gonna look up to that. Like there's still some areas where I know I don't go there first. So that's the goal with tonight. And if I'm being real honest, I was really like, oh my gosh, let me throw my ideas into ChatGPT and let's go through this together. Um, so we're gonna be going through this together, but really the things that I want to point out are that they said a couple points that really hit me. First, the total surrender piece. I was like, okay, and I don't think, this is just me like in the spot thinking about this, like when I used to think of surrender, I used to fear what would be like, my focus was on what I would be losing in the surrender. If that has been you or has ever crossed your mind, like let me know in the chat, in the comments, like let me know. Because for me, it was like, and even Forrest talked about this on the call. He was like, I was making my own decisions. I was the Lord of my own life. And I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And when he said that, I thought, wow, like, yep, that's where I was in college. And even up until like January, if I'm like kind of being honest, maybe the year before, maybe September of 2023 when we moved here and I started sharing my faith boldly. That was kind of like, and maybe a little bit before that when I was called to build the community, but I wasn't like saying yes right away. So maybe in 2023, but not fully. It was like a partial surrender. But I was definitely still like in my college years, my 30s, most of my 30s, I was for sure like, I just want to live my life. I don't want to give up that. I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want to do. And I totally thought that, yes, surrender feels like you're giving something away you wish you didn't have to. But I guess this is actually gaining by giving away control. Yes, and that's what I have even noticed is like I don't feel like I've lost anything in this like part of surrender that I'm at now, which is way better than I was before. Like I feel like I'm usually going to God first or second. Once I realize I didn't go first, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't go to God first. Um, so where I'm at now is like I don't feel like I've lost out on anything. And it's funny because whenever you hear the verses that talk about like the old is gone and the new like you are created new, I feel like a new person. Like even today, um, I used to love Halloween and now I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. And I didn't love it because I like scary stuff. I actually hate scary stuff. I loved it because it was like, let's dress up, let's play make believe, and let's get candy because I loved candy. And now my daughter wanted to be Curious George, and she told me the last minute, and like a little couple, man with a yellow hat and Curious George, little couple costume. And I was like, okay, she asked me if I could go look for monkey ears. And I was like, okay. I had to go to the Halloween store and I really hate being scared, like especially jump scared. Like I hate it. I didn't know which things are going to go off when I walk by. So I'm literally like walking as far where I can't, like try not to be, try not to set anything off. And I'm like, I don't want to look around this whole store. And so I saw an associate and I was like, Do you have monkey ears? And if you do, where would they be? Where would I find them?" And she's like, "Oh, in the back and the accessories if we do." They didn't have it. But when I was in the store, I was just kind of I finally got to a point where I could actually like I was like, I didn't even want to be here. Like I feel like a whole new person. Like it's weird, but not in a bad way, not in a judgy way. Like I don't care if you like Halloween. I don't care. I'm not gonna judge you. I really don't care. Because I think it's the heart posture behind what you're doing. I've always said that. I always think that. And that's where I still remain. Um, but it just was creeping me out. And even like driving around town and like seeing like scarier houses, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do on Halloween. My husband's not even here. Like I get to drive the kids around. So all that to say that I feel like you become a new person when you truly get into intimate relationship with God, and it doesn't feel like a loss. So if you are avoiding getting closer to him because you feel like and avoiding surrendering because you feel like you're going to lose something, I'm telling you it is not what you think, because it's not what I would thought either. And what came to me whenever I heard Forrest say that about making his own decisions, I thought this thought. I texted it to Cheryl so I would remember it. Free will affords us the ability to decide to let God make the decisions for us. Isn't that so beautiful that he gifted us that? Like just sit in that for a moment. And I'll say it again. Free will affords us the ability to decide to let God make the decisions for us. And that, whenever that dropped into my head while he was talking, I was like, wow, that is a big love to let us do that, right? And now I don't want to make decisions. I hated making decisions before anyways. I got to a place where I hated making decisions less. But I and now I'm like, okay, let's see what God says. God, what do you say? And everybody's like, Candace is like, I know some people are probably thinking, like, does he really talk to you like that? Sometimes. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's very loud what he wants me to know. And sometimes it's like, well, I don't know right now, but he'll tell me. And I just hold on to that faith, the faith in that unseen, because I know him now and I'm getting to know him and I'm seeking him and I'm seeking that intimate relationship, but not just like intimacy, but also a partnership. Like God wants to partner with you. And honestly, this is coming back to me right now. When we had looked at the month earlier in the month, we thought we were going to name this week the commissioning week. And isn't it funny how God guided us to the balance piece, but then also is now working in the commissioning, which you don't even know, but that's where we're headed. So in the backstage, which YouTube, if you don't know, you can always join us backstage for these 3 live calls. You can message us to get the link, or you can come get it inside of our community. But one of our backstage guests said, someone said, freedom is the ability to live as we ought, not as we want. Yeah, I actually think I just heard that on a sermon on Sunday. I think. I don't know, maybe, or it was a replay. I don't know, but I just heard that too. But, okay. Another standout thing for me was that surrender creates fruit every single time. And it might not be instant and it might not be huge, but every time we surrender, there is fruit. And so when God is calling you to do something or laying something on your heart, the key is always surrender. And here's another thing that's coming to me now is like, even in the storms, what I've noticed about myself, I'll just say me, I will start to try to solve the problem. Put a me in the comments or in the chat if that is you. If you enter in the storm starts coming, whatever version of the storm is. Maybe it's, chaos around your family. Maybe it's in your marriage. Maybe it's in your finances. Maybe it's in whatever, stress and worry and whatever it is. The storm starts coming. And then my brain starts saying, let me solve the problem. Okay, what am I doing? And I start analyzing and reflecting. And the minute I'm setting the intention that the minute I start noticing that I'm doing that, I'm like, hold up. It's almost like I can you're pumping the brake in your brain. Like, okay, wait, why am I trying to do this? Let me go to him. He knows the plan. He knows what's inside of me. So in that moment, I try to pump the brakes and say, okay, I'm giving this to God. And it's not always super fast for me, but sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But I will tell you, the minute I recognize and I decide, because he gifted us that power to decide, means to cut off. I decide that I'm going to ask him, I'm going to seek his way, I'm going to surrender it to him. I'm going to ask him for, okay, well, this is happening for me. I just start going through what I know. God works all things, Romans 8:28, works all things to the good of those who love him. I love him. And if you're here, chances are you love him or you want to love him. Okay? So that means that no matter what is coming your way, that it's going to be worked to your good. So you can start standing in that faith and trust and confidence that he's going to take care of you. There's something that's going to shape you out of this. There's something that's going to grow you out of this. So it makes that surrender easier and easier and easier and easier. Now I'm going to be real honest. Whenever it comes to my husband, it's not as easy for me to surrender as fast. I don't know why. It's but I was gifted an experience a week ago that was not pleasant, but it was just a text message. It wasn't nothing. It was him finally telling me what he was thinking when I've been saying, are you okay? Are you off? And then, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm like, Women can feel, like we know. But then I got the message. It was like literally a page and a half of printed. I did it. I printed it. But as mad as I wanted to be and hurt as I wanted to be at what was shared in that, I kept hearing God say, he would just flash little tiny flashes of me being worried about that, or thinking that, or fearing that, or fearing that he would say that or think that or feel that. And so I was like almost bringing to fruition the last 2 days of our challenge, which has been take captive every thought. And then today is the power of our words. Speak life. Okay. And I was like, the big breaks, like, okay, first off, Candace, you asked him what he was feeling. So he told you. So you can't be mad that he was honest. Secondly, he's a mirror reflection of like what you were either thinking or fearing or shaming yourself about. So I stopped and paused, and I got quiet with God. And I didn't necessarily sit here like the whole day, like, God, give me the answer. I got up, started cleaning the house, and then I would have I actually had like some scriptures just dropping into my head. I had some of the memories come back up to that too. So it wasn't fast initially going to him, but I like kind of made my way there. And he helped me make my way there with the mental visual pictures of like being in the moment where I was when I said it or when I thought it, like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing too much work and not being with my family enough. Thought that. I'm not helping out around the house enough. feeling like I'm not pulling my share of like the cleaning, but also then not doing the cleaning because I'm doing the work and the running the kids, and right. And so, but then there were other things that I was just like, nope, Ma, that's all you think. That ain't me. I don't know where you said that. That's old Candace. Old Candace did feel that way, but new Candace, which has been here for like pretty much the whole time since we moved here, nope, she's been fine with this. So it was like, it was really interesting to have that experience. But all that to say that when we do surrender, it helps us to balance quicker. So like in that moment, I get the text, right? I'm reading the text, and my physical body is like hot, heart racing. I'm like, oh my God, like seeing red. But then God comes in a whisper of a thought, and I'm like, okay, apply love. That's another thing. I'm like, how can I apply love right now? It's silence. That was my answer. And not in a begrudging way, not in a manipulative way. It was like, just be quiet, be still. Just hold up, pump the brakes. You don't have to answer right now in this state. So that was the first thought. But the balancing happened as soon as I decided I was going to wait and see what God says to me in this before I respond. And then it was like the flush of red that I know was on me, and like the hot, it was like balancing back out. And so if you can call in God in those moments, and yes, it does matter what we think and what we say, but if we can catch those things and surrender and know that we don't have to fear surrender, because what he has promised us is more than we can ever imagine, greater than we can imagine. So, and that surrender is going to produce fruit, big or small, every single time. Okay, now I'm going to get to these notes and see if there's some scriptures and stuff for us here. Okay. Now here's part of what was said in that sermon too, and it stood out a different way to me, because I used to be an all or nothing. Like I was like all or nothing. I'm waking up early, I'm drinking all the water, I'm doing all the things. I'd go hard. I did 75 hard. I completed it. Yay, I did not get a trophy. But then afterwards it's like all out because you're burnt out. And so that was like a big reason for me for a long time and still now, when it comes to like dieting. I don't mean like dieting like the process. I mean, like diet, like what you eat, diet, like the food that you're eating and not eating. When it comes to diet, I'm like, it's got to be sustainable. Like, I don't want to do this, like, let's make it happen fast. And then if it's not sustainable, I don't want to do it. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's going to help me. And, but with a lot of other things like the waking up or the taking a walk, I'd be all in 40 days, 40-day challenge or 40-40 challenge. I'm all in reading the Bible and taking a walk 40 days in a row. And then when it stopped, I kind of went a little bit longer. I wanted to keep it up. But like when the momentum died down with everybody else that was doing it with me, I let it die down with me too. And then it was out. And then I was all out. So I've seen this like all in, all out as like a negative. But then on that call, Forrest said, you're either all in or you're all out with God. And I was like, huh. And I didn't hear it the same way. So I pray as my intention that you hear it in the way that God gifted me to hear it yesterday when I heard that out of Forrest Frank's mouth. But it's kind of bringing to our mind Luke 9:23. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. So you're not going to do this half surrender, partially yielded, and expect full peace. And that's why I feel like, I mean, like I said, like there's probably places where I don't know yet, they haven't been exposed to me, but like I feel like I'm pretty like, all right, God, the money's yours, the time is yours, the relationships are yours. And if you start speaking those words, then your body and your brain and your soul, like it all starts to like live that way. And so then your surrender, it feels like not a bad, like it's not mine. Like it feels like, I don't know how to describe it. Give me the words. Give me the words. It feels like it's easy. So it's saying that God is our decision maker. That's what total, all in with God. He's the decision maker. So you're like, most of the time you're like, I'm not making any decisions without talking to God about this. And when we make our own calls and then ask God to bless them, then we often end up stuck spinning our wheels, right? Like we're the ones deciding and we're like, God, like, come on, give me this, give me this. I've been there. I can't even tell you how many times. And then I think it's him, and maybe it started as him, but then I slid him out of the way. If like looking back on those moments, slid him out of the way and the motives turned, and then I just sit here. It's like you're stuck spinning your wheel. You're like, come on. So, it's just going to feel chaotic. It's going to not feel peaceful. And it's going to be an example of serving two masters, right? And Matthew 6:24 says, no one can serve two masters. And then the later part of that says, you will hate one and love the other. And so like, you can't be the decision maker and go to God to be in the decision maker too. Like that's what came to me, like free will. God gives us the free will to decide to let him be our decision maker. And it's just so awesome. Okay. I already talked on that one. Surrender creates fruit every time. This is where I wanted to go with this. Okay. So John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So when we surrender, we're abiding in him. And when we abide, we bear fruit. You guys, also, I have to share this because I went on a deep dive because of today. today in the Awaken Your Purpose Challenge, which if you're not in it yet, it's not too late. You can get the link and you can get signed up and join right on in with us. You can pick up where we are. You can start from the beginning. It's your call. We are on day, 16. And the scripture was Proverbs 18:21. And honestly, I think we were pretty like spent when we were fine tuning this yesterday, because otherwise I would have probably caught this if I opened up the Bible. But I saw the verse and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great one for this. But I didn't open the Bible till today. So I opened the Bible, and right above Proverbs 18:21, I'm going to say it. You're going to know it. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. We're talking about surrender creates fruit every time. But we're also told that our tongue has the power to create death and to create life, and we will eat the fruit thereof. Okay? But right above that, right above it, it says, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. You guys, I was like, oh my gosh. That is literally telling us what you speak, you will eat. What you speak, you will eat. And I will point out at this point in time, hold on, let me tell you what the verse is. In the gospel. So Luke 6:45, but the equivalent-ish in the other gospel, Matthew, would be Matthew 12:34 through 37. But Luke 6:45 says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So how you are in your heart is going to show out of what you say, whether it's fear, whether it's worry, whether it's peace, whether it's whatever it is. Trust in God, whatever it is, it's going to come out in your words, well, in your thoughts and your words. Okay? So out of the mouth, the heart, the abundance of the heart speaks. Okay? But this is saying we're going to eat what we speak. If we're speaking, I'm always stuck in traffic. Oh, this always happens. I don't know. Whatever I try, I can't get out the door. This 10 pounds will never stay off. Right? Like whatever you speak, your belly is going to get full on. And then it tells you, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. To me, that says the more you say it, the more you're going to strengthen it. This right here, this verse to me today was like tying so much of my mindset journey, mindset coaching journey with / personal development with the Bible. It was like, and that's kind of funny that God guided me here today, because I have like kind of let go of trying to seek out the comparisons intentionally, because he started showing me earlier this year, that maybe late last year, that so much of what exists in personal development comes from a saying in the Bible. And so I started to try to like seek it out. And then I was like, I don't even know what other sayings I'm going to look for right now. But this one came today and I was like, holy moly. Like what you speak will come into existence. Like where attention goes, energy flows, right? What you focus on expands. So this is like God's version that came first of what you focus on expands, right? And you will create whatever you're thinking of right here in the book of Proverbs. Okay. So when you're trying to activate surrender, like trying to activate balance through surrender, think about, like, just take a moment right now. Think about your day, your week, your month, and think about like how you've overall felt or what you've experienced overall. And when you experienced it, how are you feeling or thinking or viewing it? And maybe you might want to give this a little bit more time to breathe, like sit with your pen, like for a few minutes, like write it out. But if we look at it without judgment, remove the judgment, okay? Don't shame yourself. Don't think about like, I was being bad, I was being good. No, we're putting no judgment. We're just looking at it through a lens of that our external world is a direct relationship, like a reflection of what we have internalized consciously or subconsciously, and what has come out in our thoughts and or out of our mouth. And whether it be, I hope this doesn't happen, it's gonna happen. You're still, when you think about, like, now I'm bringing the mindset thing. Whenever you say, I hope something doesn't happen, right? Your brain builds pictures. The way God designed us, our brain builds pictures. And so you're like, oh, I hope I don't get sick when I go on this flight. Oh, that's a good one, God. He just dropped that in my head. Because I didn't think, I used to be identified as the person in my own head that would get sick when I would fly, after I would fly on a trip. Or I'd go home, and the running joke was like, I would started telling the kids, we're going to wave at the urgent care as we drive by so we won't end up there. Guess what? We ended up there anyways. Somebody ended up getting sick every single time we go to North Carolina. So once I found this out, we stopped doing that. We're like, oh, we're so happy and healthy, and like we're staying healthy. We start choosing better words. But if you say, I hope I don't get sick on this flight, right? There's people coughing and sneezing, and I'm just in a cesspool of whatever, illness, germs, right? And guess what? Your brain doesn't hear the picture. How do you build a picture of not sick from the germs? Your brain is thinking germs, coughing, sneezing, touching, all the things. Ew, like that's the picture your brain is building. And then when your brain builds the picture, guess what? Just like Inside Out, it's funny because it's true. There's little command center. This is the command center. And then it's going to send it out to all your organs, like, oh no, we're going to get sick. Germs, abort. And your body starts getting in alignment with germs. And like your body, when you think you're going to get sick, it's going to start putting you in fight or flight mode, which pushes your blood out to your extremities, because in the caveman days, we had to get away to save our life. So guess what's unprotected? Your immune system. And so you're sitting on this plane like, oh God, I hope I don't get sick. Oh, someone coughed. Oh, right? And then you get off the plane and then you get sick. So that is the big key of why our words matter, our thoughts matter, and why when we surrender, we have to give it to God. We go all in with God. The more we get to know him, the more we'll know that, we'll know what's waiting for us in the promises of him. And honestly, I believe that now, I literally came off of a flight in 2022 and in the fall, and I was like, all right, I'm a miracle, and I'm coated with the genetic makeup of my creator, God. And I have the ability to direct and instruct. This is a Marissa Peer technique. Direct, instruct, command, code, and compel my body to heal perfectly and properly, like just choosing better words and better thoughts. And that was the turning point for that at first. I was like, ooh, it worked. It's working. And so then I started doing it. I had multiple other experiences, but every single time for me, I was bringing God into that. So it is your way to achieve that balance is through surrender. Surrender is the key to activating your balance. Okay, now I'm going to catch up on the chat here. It's tough when we are told, oh, totally sold out in one area, but then we find out we're not totally sold out in others. It's a pride buster. Yes, but the good news is we want to bust the pride. We want to be like, yes, we're not doing it to brag anyways. We're just doing it to get closer to him and to live more righteously. Also, I feel like we're coming up on God is like the word righteous and righteousness. I used to think was so bad. And now it's all in the Bible and it's what we're called to live righteously. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But that's part of living righteous is to actually have no pride. We give God the glory. So we're like, oh, yes, there's another spot. And that's kind of what kind of mentality I have whenever I get those exposure. I feel like this is what I used to say on my coaching calls. Kimberly's probably gonna get a good laugh out of this. I'd be like, it's like God's up in your brain and he's got this flashlight. He's like, hey, look over here, look over here. Not with judgment, just so he can expose it so you can go work on it or surrender it to him. But he's in the brain and the subconscious, finding those places, and he is sending us the guidance so that we can improve. Just like my mirror experience with my husband last week was like, I can't get mad because I just asked him how he's feeling like 5 times today and he finally let it out. Like, how do I get mad? That's his feelings. So it's like, okay, it's a mirror so that we can improve on the inside. And I'll give you a bonus key. Surrender is the key to balance, and love is the answer always to anything, period. Like, that's how you solve the problem, love. And if you start working from that place, how do I apply love? Put that in your brain on repeat and repeat. And it's not always going to look the same. Sometimes it's going to be the tough conversation. Sometimes it's going to be being quiet. Sometimes it's going to be holding space. Sometimes it's going to be a hug. It will be 1,000 different other options. But if you go surrender to God first and ask him, how do I apply love in this situation? I'm telling you, maybe it's to yourself sometimes, maybe it's to other people. It is a game changer, and you will feel more balanced in your life. It'll be like a godly to me, the balance has always been a feeling of peace. I've been striving to find a feeling of peace in my life whenever I was seeking balance before, according to the world. And I had my different routes for getting there. And the peace wasn't sustainable, right? Like, that's the funny part. When we can actually like just laugh at ourselves for a minute, like, well, don't know why I thought that was ever going to be everlasting peace, because I wasn't getting it from the Prince of Peace, the King of Kings, right? So we are like small children. As soon as you tell them not to do something, they cannot resist. And it's also part of the problem. We don't know as young parents not to say, don't spill that. The image built, spilling, boom, done. Don't climb on the chair. Don't on the chair, right? Because their brain is building an image too. So we have to get creative. And I'm always like, I'm doing better with my kids. And then I'll catch myself. I'm like, dang it, why did I say it that way? But I'm setting the goal for like my kids and my grandkids. I'm like, okay, it's okay. I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna help my kids. I'm gonna be like, cheat code, go to God and word it in a more, what you do want. Let's put the focus on what we do want. Let's build that image for them. And let's see if it works better. You never hear the not. It will only hear what you think in general. Yeah, you'll only hear what you think in general, and you'll find what you're looking for. You will find what you're looking for. And Cheryl was talking about that on one of the other calls. I know since I've been getting closer to God, my mental health has gotten better. Yes, peace. And it's going to keep going your way, and waves of it. And it will surpass understanding. Like me last Thursday. I'm like, I know I sound, when I was talking to a friend, I was like, I know I sound like I'm mad, but honestly, I can't even be mad right now because of this. And they're like, I don't know where God's taking this, but we got some growth. At least we're headed, at least he said something, finally. So, but you get that peace that like, you're like, I don't know, doesn't even make sense to me right now why I'm so calm, but thank you. That's kind of where I was last week. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Let me see if there's just any other little points I wanted to point out. Witnesses. Oh, witness. We're partners. Okay, 2 Corinthians 5:20. It says, we are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. And so when you're surrendered, that is when you become a minister of reconciliation, and you're able to you're carrying God's heart into the world around you. And that's why I say when we start going to God more, we're going to start seeing things a whole new way. And that's why that apply love. How do I apply love? Like, I'm going back in my brain right now to whenever we moved here in 2023, and it was like late fall, early December. I don't know, somewhere in between October and December probably. And my youngest was having this like crying all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like whine. It's not even a cry. It's like a whiny. I'm like, ugh. And then I just want to stop it. But I'm like, okay, how do I apply love? And then I'm like, she's a touchy feel. Like God just was like reminding me, her touch bucket is empty. So give her a hug. Just let her cry. And I was like, okay. So I just hold her heart to heart, 6 seconds. I heard that somewhere, like helps release endorphins or something. I don't even remember what it was. But I was like, okay. And then guess what? Peace. And, and then sometimes you just need to be quiet and you just look at people. Peace. So it's the craziest thing, but then once we start going into it, then we're able to guide others too. So now, oh man, this could go on all night. There was another time where my mom was going through something pretty dark it was around the same time when we were moving, probably because we were moving back across the country. Um, she was not in a good space, and I wasn't in the best of spaces. I'm moving across. Our oldest was going to college in Virginia, and we're moving to Washington, and like that's hard, and didn't really want to be moving back to Washington. That was hard. But I had surrendered to God telling me it's all going to work out perfectly with timing. I was like, okay, I can accept that and I can enjoy it while I'm there. Um, but I had to move into a space where I was like, I can only talk to her. I used to be able to talk to my mom for like endless time, but I had to like move into a space of like shorter and shorter and shorter times while she was going through that. But then I got to a place where I was doing like getting closer with God too. This is around the time of him saying, share your faith boldly. And so I started getting better, myself right with God. And then there was a day, it wasn't even that long. It was like maybe a month. But and she called and I was like, this is going to be a good call. And I don't know, I just had a knowing and I picked it up and we talked for like 30 minutes and I moved her from the 5 minute category back to, to the 30 minute category. So, but I was able to, because my mom and I are close in age and she's 18 years older than me. And so we've always been like friends and daughters, right? Like we're really close. And she was a single mom and I was the oldest and the only girl. So I would help take care of the boys. And so that created a whole new dynamic of struggle with trying to parent me and, you know, me taking care of the boys, me being her working, but me also trying to parent me. So, I've always been able to talk to her openly. Like that's our relationship has been like that. But there was that time where she was in so dark. I was like, it didn't matter. Whatever I said, we were fighting. And I was like, okay, I can't deal with that. But I got back to this place when I started getting closer and more surrendered and closer with God that I was able to minister in a more, like actually minister to her rather than give advice. I feel like there is a difference there. And I was ministering reconciliation. And God has always gifted me like ways to say things and hear things out of like, I feel like I could speak to, I know it's not actual tongues like people think the definition of tongues is, but to me, I feel like I have a gift of hearing between the lines and being able to speak between the lines. And so God is calling us, the more you do surrender and the more you are getting closer with him, he's going to call you into that partnership. So the surrender is going to start activating a closer partnership with God. So if you've been feeling like he's distant, I would encourage you to lean into the surrender piece, knowing that the more you're able to lean into that and you're able to do like fully surrender, like even more, the more he's going to activate in you that partnership rather than just it feeling like a one-way street, you know? So, okay. And then the last piece is it aligns your heart with his heart. So you're going to start feeling what he feels, and you won't even question like if it's you or him or the devil. Like you'll know. You'll be like, Oh, that was me. Like I was kind of, it was a personal thing. I tipped off the line. I went out of the lines, but God's right there. Jesus is right there to immediately pull you back when you fall, just like he did with Peter in the storm. Whenever your eyes are fixed on him, and I heard this too, and I'm going to wrap it up right after this. I heard this too, that, the same verse that's changed my life like so many times. But when Peter was walking on the water, he got close enough to Jesus, who was so far away they couldn't even tell it was him, right? He gets close enough to him. He walks far enough on the water to Jesus to reach, immediately grab him out of that water when he started going down. And it said he started going down when he heard the wind. You think the wind was like, there's nothing in the text that says the wind picked up, right? Or when he saw the wind, I don't know, heard or saw, I don't know, whatever the word is there. And I don't want to waste time looking at it. It's in Matthew somewhere, in the middles. But when now I feel like I gotta look it up. I think it's 6. Let me look it up. Dang it, I said I wasn't going to. And then God said, ha ha, that's what you think. Salt of the earth. Peter walks on water. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't find it that fast. Teaching, giving, teaching. Loving one's enemy, treasures in heavens. Judging, asking, receiving, heals. Calms the winds of a sea. I think that's the first one. I think it's 14. Yep, it's after this. Yep. Death of John the Baptist. I'm close. Jesus walks on water. Okay. Peter, come. But when he saw, so it's 14, Matthew 14, 30. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. He took his eyes off Jesus. Yes. So there's nothing in here that says the wind got louder. It wasn't already there around him. But think about that too. Even if it did get louder, he's close. He's made it with his eyes on Jesus, locked in. And he gets right there towards Jesus so that Jesus could like just grab him. It doesn't say Jesus was running back to him to pick him up out of the water. He was right there, immediately picked him up. So think about that. Maybe even if it was that it got more boisterous, maybe the louder wind, the crazier storm means you are just right there, right there. You're that close. You could be face to face with Jesus and like, or the breakthrough that he has for you. So if you keep your eyes on him and you keep surrendering, I guarantee you it will take off and you will have peace. You'll have balance. You'll feel balanced, even though it might seem crazy to feel balanced. And it, as you're walking in his order, God's order, not the world. And if you're putting some I shoulds on myself, or it should look like this, or this is how it's done. Even this is how it's done. Like something as simple as a YouTube algorithm. Cheryl and I have had to catch ourselves, be like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We don't need to worry about that. God's got us, right? And then refocus, go back to him every day, refocus. Okay, God, this is yours. Where are we going? So, all right, you guys, I love you all. Thank you for being here backstage. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I hope you have a blessed weekend. And I know tomorrow is Halloween. Have fun, be safe, and tell somebody about Jesus on the way. If you are trick-or-treating, that's what my plan is. I think I'm going to be the good news. I think I'm going to wrap myself in newspaper and put note cards of different gospels, like verses from the gospels. I was thinking about it earlier because the kids were like, what are you going to be? I was like, I don't even know. And I was like, how do I get newspaper to stick to a sweatshirt? If you have any ideas, let me know. All right, you guys. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.